Oh, Mimi, Paula, Anna, it looks like most of you are here. And it looks like Mimi still has snow. Wow, we had snow one night. That was it. Nothing so far. Hold on, y'all. 1 minute. Okay. Getting comfortable. Hello. Ashley. Okay, let me start writing. I got most of it already filled out today for us. We still are on a rating of 3 spice and 3 stars, y'all. We only had a 2-page chapter, so we have myself, Paula, Mimi, Dee, Anna, Ashley. Shanika is in the house. Shanika. All right, 1, 2. Watchers. We got to put our watchers in here. They love coming in and watching. Now, my book writers. We lost Valerie. She probably will come in and say hi and share being in the book club. She did not quit the book club. She only stopped writing. She had a lot going on, and she felt she could not keep up with it. So I give her kudos, give her a big hand for knowing when to bow out. I give her a big hand for that. And we will definitely write her in when she comes to visit. She does still want to be in the club. She just can't write the book with us at this time. Real quickly, I have a share. This is Grammarly. And I don't know if any of you are on Grammarly, but this is what I use for my ghost stories. And the tone, these tones are detected in your writing last week. Now, this is only for my ghost stories, not the book club. My confidence level, 33%, the highest. Informative, 29%. I would have liked to see my informative above confidence, but that's okay. That just shows that I write confidently and informatively. That's what I share with you guys each and every week about writing informatively. Keep the reader invested. My directness, 16%, third one, very good. Informal, 13%. I would like to see that down here a little bit, but that's where it is. I got to work on that. Friendly, 3%. And the reason that is because they are ghost stories. They're not meant to be friendly. Optimistic, 2%, because they're not meant to be optimist. And admiring, 1%. Nobody admires a ghost, so 1% for that. But this is how you watch yourself as you are writing. I really like Grammarly for that reason. So I wanted to share that with you guys. And I have 3,527 words analyzed by Grammarly. That's pretty good. Now, I want to share one of Paula's journal pages. She is so excited. She won a baby from Deidre's Hobby and Lupus Life. And she had to make it part of her journal. And I love the bottle she did, and hello, baby, and you are loved, little one. And then she put baby Deirdre, the baby's name. She named this baby after Deirdre, which I think is so sweet and sentimental. What a gorgeous journal page, Paula, for your win. Everyone congratulate her on her baby win. Congratulations, Miss Paula. So happy for you. Even though I did want to win it myself, I entered that giveaway. And Miss Paula won. It couldn't have went to a better person. Sweet. All right, chapter 8. What the winter test. Listen carefully, everyone, because we have the questions afterwards. And this is chapter 8. What the winter tests. When you hear your sentence, put a thumbs up and the word yay in the chat. When you hear your sentence, put the thumbs up with the word yay in the chat. All right, let me check real quick. I want to make sure to check make sure my text is working so I can see your comments. And Paula said, you're welcome, everyone. Yes, I'm so happy for her. Chapter 8, working through the storm this winter. Triton moved beneath a sky heavy with snow, carrying with him a hope for spring that he refused to speak aloud. It lived quietly in him, unvoiced, fragile, and stubborn. The snowfall pressed against his body, sharp and relentless, but it did not bend his will. There was still work to finish, and he would see it done. At night, as the wind scraped along the cabin walls, Triton lay awake, listening. The sound felt like a warning spoken in a language he could not understand. In the privacy of his thoughts, he admitted the truth to himself. He was not afraid of the storm itself, but of what might follow once it passed. What would remain when the snow finally loosened its grip? Inside, Lyra sat by the fire alone, guarding what little warmth the cabin could offer. She worked to protect the fragile hope of a future where love endured at all costs, held together by what remained of the life they had built, still standing, not yet undone by fear or loss. The fire crackled, but it did not quiet her thoughts. She could not help but remember another moment of doubt, long before this winter. Just before their wedding, Triton had grown fearful and wondered aloud if they were too young to be stepping into something so immense. They had talked, worked through it, and the doubt dissolved. Remembering it now, though, only made the present feel colder. That old uncertainty had once carried warmth. This winter allowed none. Both Triton and Lyra felt the weight of the silence between them. In this harsh season, they began to understand that the silence had spoken more honestly than their words ever could. Winter pressed against the cabin as if it knew their weaknesses, unyielding and watchful, testing the strength of what they were trying to hold together. Lyra waited, always watching, her husband fighting the cold outside while she prepared his lunch. Then later, his supper. She battled the cold inside the cabin, waiting for the warmth of spring, waiting to hold her husband's hand again without gloves between them, waiting to survive this winter together. How many of you heard your sentence? We are still in the number 3 star. We only had a 2-page chapter, but in the book it'll be a little longer, but we have to up our game. We have to up our game in the next few chapters. And it looks like everyone heard their sentence. Valerie is not here. Her sentence is still included in here. And mine, I didn't put a thumbs up for mine, but it looks like all of you heard your sentence. Awesome. Let's see. Ashley, Deirdre, and Miss Paula, did you hear your sentence? Miss Paula, did you hear your sentence, hon? Thank you for the love. Thank you. Shanika heard hers. And Miss Paula, you must have missed yours, hon. Be sure to put a thumbs up, and yeah, yours was right. Fighting the cold, she prepared his lunch, then his supper. I think that one was yours. Let me check. I want to make sure Paula heard her sentence. I have to get our folder out here. Paula had, let me get it. So Paula had, Trayton. Okay, that wasn't hers. The top one was at the beginning of the story. Hers was at the beginning. So give us that thumbs up, Paula. Make sure you also put the word yeah. We want to. All right. Let's move on. We have multiple choice. And we just read the story. So, what weighs most heavily on Trayton as he works through the storm? A, fear of cold harming his body. B, worry about running out of supplies. C, the unspoken uncertainty of what comes after winter. Or D, anger at the isolation of the cabin. What weighs most on Trayton as he works through the storm? A, fear of, oh good, Paula, all right. Fear of the cold harming his body. B, worrying about running out of supplies. C, the unspoken uncertainty of what comes after winter. Or D, anger at the isolation of the cabin. And we have, all right, Deidre with C. And Shanika C, Mimi C, Anna C, Paula. Everybody chose C. Awesome. And if you chose C, you are correct. The unspoken uncertainty. That's right. Number 2. How does Lyra attempt to protect the future she hopes for? A, by urging Trayton to rest. B, by holding on to memories of the past. C, by quietly maintaining warmth and routine inside the cabin. Or D, by confronting the storm directly. How does Lyra attempt to protect the future she hopes for? A, by urging Trayton to rest. B, by holding on to memories of the past. C, by quietly maintaining warmth and routine inside the cabin? Or D, by confronting the storm? And we have Deidre, C. Paula K, C. Shanika says B or C, not too sure. And Anna picks C. Mimi, what's your answer? Let me see if Mimi answered. That might be hers. Yes, Mimi said C. And if you pick C, you are correct. She quietly maintains warmth and routine inside the cabin. Don't doubt yourself, Shanika. You had C on there, hon. Go with it. All right. Shanika or Paula, somebody put X's in the chat, please. And we will move on to number 3. What does the silence between Trayton and Lyra come to represent in this chapter? A, emotional distance that cannot be repaired. B, a pause before inevitable loss. C, a form of truth deeper than the spoken word. Or D, resentment built over many winters. What is your answer? What does the silence between Trayton and Lyra come to represent in this chapter? A, emotional distance that cannot be repaired. B, a pause before inevitable loss. C, a form of truth deeper than the spoken word. Or D, resentment built over many winters. And we have Deidre coming in with C. Anna, C. Paula, C. We just need a couple of more answers, Shanika and Mimi. What is your answer? What does the silence between Trayton and Lyra come to represent in this chapter? Emotional distance that cannot be repaired. B, a pause before inevitable loss. C, a form of truth deeper than the spoken word. Or D, resentment built over many winters. So we have 3 answers. We're waiting for a couple more. If any of you watching know the answer, put it in there. You heard the story. Put it in the chat. Which is it? And if you chose C, you are correct. It is a form of truth deeper than the spoken word. Correct. Number 4. Which image best symbolizes Trayton's inner conflict? A, firewood stacked neatly by the wall. B, snow pressing against his body as he works. C, the quiet glow of the fire at night. Or D, the memory of laughter from the past. Which image best symbolizes Trayton's inner conflict? A, firewood stacked by the wall. B, snow pressing against his body as he works. C, the quiet glow of fire at night. Or D, the memory of laughter from the past. No, nobody blocked you, babe. Nope. Hello, Nicole. Welcome into the book club. And you also put C. Very nice. All right. Let's see. Mimi was the last to answer, or Nicole was. So no one blocked you, Shanika. Can you leave? If you can put the message in, you're a moderator. Nobody can block you. You are one of my mods. The only one that could do that would be me, and I sure am not doing that. Okay, Nicole said D, the memory of laughter from the past. We have Deidre saying D. Queen Bee says D. We have a lot of D's. Think about the chapter. It's in the chapter. It is B. Which image best symbolizes Trayton's inner conflict? The snow pressing against his body as he works. Thanks for the love so much. And Nicole, thank you for playing along with my book club writers. Thank you. So much fun. All right, somebody put some X's in. We have one more. One more. Put those X's down. Thank you, Dee. By the end of chapter 8, what change begins to take place? Oh, yes. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I need to go back up to Shanika's. No, you're fine. Shanika, I just checked you, hon. Leave a comment. Leave a comment and see. Can you? Yes, I can see you, honey. Yeah, everything looked good. Deidre can see you. Paula says she can see you. Yeah, it might have happened from YouTube, Shanika. Yeah. And Nicole said she can see you also. Anna said she can see you. All right, let's have Shanika put a sentence in. Just write snow outside, stories inside. I want to make sure it comes through when you write. She gives us the thumbs up. Yeah, Shanika, just write snow outside, stories inside. I want to make sure when you write a comment, it can be seen. Because I checked it and you were good. Yeah, it might have been a YouTube glitch, that's for sure. And while I wait for her to write snow inside or snow outside, stories inside, I'm going to go grab my drink, y'all. Yeah, when I talk a lot, I gotta have my drink. How dare I forget it? All right, Shanika. We're still waiting on her. Does that mean she couldn't write it? Well, hopefully she will. She might have got a customer. So we'll give her a few minutes. All right, go ahead, Dee, and put up the X's again. By the end of chapter 8, what change begins to take place? Maybe mine quit. Who knows? Who knows? All right. A, the storm finally weakens. B, the couple openly discuss their fears. C, silence starts to shift towards something new. Or D, Lyra decides to leave the cabin. By the end of chapter 8, what change begins to take place? A, the storm finally weakens. B, the couple openly discuss their fears. C, silence starts to shift towards something new. Or D, Lyra decides to leave the cabin. And Shanika said C. Paula said C. Deidre said C. Any other answers? Ashley said C. We have a lot of C's going on. Is it C? Yes, it is C. By the end of this chapter, the silence starts to shift towards something new. Awesome, awesome sauce. That was really good, y'all. Very good. All right, let's put that over here with this. Silence. Silence as truth. Chapter 8 suggests that silence can speak more honestly than any words. Where in this chapter do you see silence revealing truth in Trayton and Lyra's relationship? Where do you see that the silence is revealing truth in Trayton and Lila's relationship? Does anyone know? It is in the second paragraph. Trayton lay awake listening. The sound felt like a warning spoken in a language he could not understand. In the privacy of his thoughts, he admitted the truth to himself. That's where it lays in the second paragraph. Hope versus fear. Trayton carries hope for the spring, but refuses to speak it aloud. Why do you think hope feels more dangerous to him than the fear in this chapter? Why would the hope feel more dangerous? Does anyone know? Put your answer in the chat. Just take a gander at it. If right or wrong, it doesn't matter. Just where do you think hope for the spring? He refuses to speak it aloud. So why do you think the hope feels more dangerous to him rather than fear? Because it makes you lose your grip on the idea of what could happen. Very good. That, Shanika, that is a very good answer. Yes. You lose that grip. You want spring to come. You want that hope, that spring, but it feels more dangerous because the idea of what could happen. Exactly right. And Queen Ashley wrote through their thoughts for the first question. That also is a good answer. Thank you for the hearts, for the love. This is going to be an awesome book. And I thank you for all that love, y'all. It is getting colder and colder outside. Yes, that too. The storm is raging, and that makes him wonder about the hope for the future, the hope. That is why hope feels more dangerous. The weight of waiting. Lyra spends much of the chapter waiting, watching, preparing meals, guarding the warmth. How does her waiting differ from Trayton's physical struggle against the storm? How does How does her waiting differ from Triton's physical struggle against the storm? What is the difference between the two? Lyra spends much of the chapter waiting, watching, and preparing meals, and guarding the fire, making sure they have warmth in the cabin. So how does her waiting differ from Triton's physical struggle against the storm? Wow, I have an answer for that, but I want to see what you all think, what your intake on that is. How does her waiting differ from Triton's? She still has some physical, right? She still has some physical things that she has to do, but she's waiting for him to come in. She's watching him. Hello, Oil. Welcome to the book club. It is a good afternoon. Thank you for stopping in and giving us a visit. Shanika said it causes a lot of internal processing. Exactly, it does. And everyone is saying hello, Oil. Good to see you this afternoon. And it differs because she has the internal, like she wants to go out and help them. So she does, it differs in the stress level just a little bit. A lot of internal stress of watching, preparing the meals, guarding the fireplace, making sure to let him know when the wood is getting low. So Ashley also said hello, Oil. Memory and cold. Let's talk about the memory and cold. Lyra recalls a moment of doubt before their wedding. Why do you think this memory feels colder now than it did when it first occurred? Now, that could be a pretty heavy answer. Why do you think the moment of doubt before their wedding, why do you think this memory feels colder now than it did when it first occurred? Look up. Okay. Paula wants me to look up. It's getting colder and colder. I read that one, honey. Is there another one? Is there another one, Paula? I read colder and colder already. Do you have another one? I have a good idea why that memory might feel colder now than it did, because of what is happening right now in their lives. I did write it again, Paula. I did look up, and the last comment I read, unless you want me to go above that. Unless you want me to go above that. Okay, go above that, all right? Okay, then we're getting into the letters for the, above that, honey, is the letters for the game. What your choice was. All right. Anybody care to write? Lyra recalls a moment of doubt before their wedding. Why do you think this memory feels colder now than it did when it first occurred? Could it be because now is worse than that? Or is it getting better? Put your answer in the chat if you think you know. Winter as a force. Winter is described as if it knows their weaknesses. Yes, we did describe the winter as if it knows their weaknesses. In what ways does the season act like a character in this chapter rather than a setting? Can anyone answer that? Why does the winter season act like a character in this chapter? You all should get this one, because we have written it that way. We have written the winter, the season, to act like a character. Can anybody tell me what that is? Why we have written it? What is out there in the snow? I hope they didn't stop again. Let me check. Okay, baby girl. Because someone is not watching them, D. Something. You got that 100% correct, but you want to change someone to something because something is watching them. What? How did we set it up? What is watching them? The winter. The winter. We set it up as if the winter was a character. And that is for the upcoming chapters. We have set it up as 2 chapters ahead so that it looks like it is a character. How awesome is that? You guys did very well. Very, very well. You are really getting it. All right, so let's go on to our sentences. We have a lot to cover, y'all. We want to get our 3 stars moved up to 4 stars. Okay? Thank you, D. We don't need the X's anymore, baby girl. We don't need those anymore. Thank you so much. You can put anything in the chat you want to at any time. If I miss it by chance, because I'm reading a lot, and we're correcting. So if I miss it by chance, just tell me to look up or one of the other moderators point it out to me so that I may see it. All right, we're going to start with Miss Paula. She turned in her silent writing. They're just for the... You're giving me hugs. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That is so sweet, Dee. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, honey. Paula turned in her silent writing 8:10. They were emotionally exhausted from the weather outside, and they didn't know what to say to each other. That pinpoints it perfectly, Paula. Perfectly. Give her a hand, you all. That emotional exhaustion, it puts them in a place emotionally that they just don't know what to say. The winter is hard on them. It's a perfect description of emotionally exhausted. Now, Shanika turned in her silent writing. The rest of you forgot your silent writing. And that's okay. No points against you. I just wanted to see if you had a grip on their emotional status. Now, Shanika wrote, Trayton's experience with emotional exhaustion focuses on his endurance, silence, and watching. Another. Okay. Yeah, that's a YouTube thing. That's what's going on. Oh, Dee said she put it in the homework. I did not see it, Dee. Go ahead and write it in the chat, Dee, so I can read it in the chat. Ashley, I got your sentence, honey, but not your silent writing. I did not find that in. You didn't have it in with your sentence. And if you sent a separate one, guys, if you don't put in the subject line what it is, it will get missed. I have a lot of things coming into that email, especially now that we started writing the book. So put in the subject line. I mean, in what? Okay, yeah, it wasn't a super important thing. I just wanted to see if y'all had a handle on the emotional exhaustion before we go into the next chapter. And it looks like Paula and Shanika had a very good handle on, and I love how Shanika wrote, it focuses on his endurance, silence, and watching. He's always watching the weather. Sent you my 810. All right, now see, I did not see your 810. So go ahead and write it in the chat, Ashley, what your 810 was, and I will read it now. All right, well, we are waiting for Ashley to write her 810 in the chat. Let's go back up to Paula's sentence. Trayton worked hard outside, chopping firewood in the cold winter air. Inside, Lyra carefully kept the fire burning. Lyra also had baked a fresh apple pie for dinner, filling the house with warmth and comfort. When Trayton finally stepped in from the freezing weather, Lyra handed him a steaming cup of coffee and a piece of apple pie that she had made for dinner, helping him warm up before heading back out to finish his chores. Hey, Valerie. Hi, honey. Welcome in. Thank you. I told everybody that you were not quitting the book club, just the story. And I knew you would come in to visit. Yay. Everyone is saying hello. I can't check the emails right now, love. Can you go ahead and write it in the chat? It should only take you a couple seconds to write it in the chat. I mistakenly put 7A on the Oh, okay. I don't know about you guys, but I give Paula's sentence an A. Give me a thumbs up if you guys agree. It gives the details perfectly. He is hard at work again. He's got to keep that wood chopped. And I just love how she portrays Lyra in making the pie and getting his supper ready. I love it. Yes, Paula, fantastic. I love it, Paula. You get an A, girl. You're getting it for sure. Okay, let's go to Shanika's. And Shanika said, Paula, fantastic. To me, it is. Now, the editor might change some of the A's and the A's, but that's okay. That is a beautiful paragraph. All right, Shanika. A question hung in the air thicker than the smoke from the fire. Trayton felt it, the weight he had been carrying. Not just the wood, not just the water buckets hauled from the well. The weight of being the strong one, the silent one, the one who never let fear show because he thought that is what she needed. His voice was low, almost swallowed by the wind, but it was there, real, unhidden. The wife turned slightly, her eyes softened, not because he was strong, because he finally spoke. He took her cold hands in his rough ones. We'll face it, he said, not because I'm unafraid, but because I don't want to face it without you. Trayton had finally spoken. They weren't standing against the storms separate, but together. No longer did they stand alone. One edit error. They no longer did they stand alone. And I also give Shanika an A. One thing though, Shanika, a very, very, very well thought out and written paragraph. And I love that he spoke. But were they ever really alone? My friend is home. He has staples. I've been doing the wood burner. I can't wait till summer. Aw, I hope he's doing well, Valerie. I really hope he's doing well. And Shanika, I give you an A. But let's answer the question. I love the part where you put, I don't want to face it without you. But were they really ever standing alone? They still were together, but they had silence between them. So, should we change separate but together, no longer holding thoughts alone? How does that sound, Shanika? Holding thoughts alone. Holding their thoughts alone. Holding their thoughts. Very good paragraph also. But because they were never truly alone, we need to change it to thoughts. Because they did a lot of thinking, but they never were alone. I give Shanika an A. All right, let's move on to Ashley's paragraph. Lyra sat by the window, watching Trayton work. Her emotions and deep thoughts consumed her mind. The silence had been buried deep for so long. Her voice was suddenly yearning to come out and speak the words she had been wanting to say. It rose within her like something long caged, pressing against her ribs, gathering shape and courage with every gust of wind that rattled against the glass. For months she had folded her fears into neat, invisible corners, convincing herself that quiet was safer, that restraint was strength. But now the hush felt heavier than any confession. The words trembled at the edge of her breath, no longer content to live as thoughts alone, demanding to be heard, even if they changed everything between them. I give Ashley an A. 3 awesome paragraphs. Give yourselves a hand, y'all. Oh my gosh. I am so elated and excited, y'all. 3 awesome paragraphs. Boom, 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 boom. Love it, love it, love it. We're gonna get that star up. Yes, we are. Awesome. All right, let's move on to Miss D. All right, put this behind here. All right, let's move on to Miss D. Lyra woke to the sound of Trayton chopping wood. The curtain had slightly come apart. She quickly closed it, wanting to keep the world outside. She got up, determined this silence was going to end today, right now. She made coffee and called Trayton, somewhat trepidatiously, and he came slowly toward her. She gave him the hot drink and spoke, her voice a little shaky. Don't want to live my life like this anymore, with only memories for warmth and comfort. I feel so drained, and I feel you must too. I'm stopping remembering and living right now with you. Oh, this is so good, Dee. but we don't want to take them into the direction. Remember, we have an ominous story coming. Something's coming. Something's out there. D, if you could change this. I love this part right here. Going to the end. This is going to end today, right now. Let's change. Instead of her saying, don't want to live my life like this anymore, let's change this. Let's change this to let's fight together. Because remember, they have silence, not they. You guys are, oh, thank you, Valerie. You are so sweet. Let's change it to let's fight together. We have Trayton speaking, grabbing her hand, and we also have Dee having Lyra speak. So let's change it to let's fight together. She finally speaks. She gave him the hot drink and spoke, her voice a little shaky. Let's fight this together. With having only memories for warmth and comfort. Feeling drained, and I feel you must too. Let's live for right now with each other, and she gently touched his arm, and he met her eyes kindly. Love it. Everybody else, how, Dee, let me know. We don't want them separating. They are a couple on a farm with serious weather problems. So Lyra woke to the sound of Trayton chopping wood. The curtain had slightly come apart. She quickly closed it, wanting to keep the world outside. She got up, determined this silence was going to end today, right now. She made coffee and called to Trayton, somewhat trepidatiously, and he came slowly towards her. She gave him the hot drink and spoke, her voice a little shaky. Let's fight this together. Having only memories for warmth and comfort. I feel drained, and I feel you must too. She gently touched his arm, and he met her eyes kindly. Dee, if you like it, give me a thumbs up. Everybody else, let me know. Thumbs up. That is awesome, Dee. A for awesome. The only thing we had to change is we want to keep them together. Yes. Dee, what do you think, honey? Give me a thumbs up. All right. And Paula said she loves it also. All right, let's go to Mimi. Now, Mimi had a little bit of trouble, and I am going to help Mimi. So I want you all to help her also. She sent me a sentence. Lyra watched out the window as Trayton is finishing up his chores and is coming in with firewood. She watches him for any hints that he wants to talk. She wonders and hopes that the silence between them can be broken. It needed to be a little longer, so I sent Mimi a sentence, and I put in, Lyra watches from the window as Trayton finishes his chore. She watches as he carries the firewood up to the house, looking for a glimmer of something that makes it clear that there is hope. Just maybe there is something more there. Now, here was what I wrote. and then I asked Mimi to finish it. Now, I was hoping Mimi could come back with a paragraph, and she told me she is struggling. So I like how she wrote the top one with the bottom, what I helped her with. So what can we put to give this a full paragraph the way Dee's is and Shanika's and Paula's and Ashley's? Lyra watches from the window as Trayton finishes his drawer. She watches as he carries the firewood up to the house, looking for a glimmer of something that makes it clear that there is hope. Just maybe there is something more there. Oh, you sent 2 more lines. Okay, I will check them out. Let me circle this. I'm going to check them out and we'll email it to all of you. And, all right, I did not see those, Mimi. You must have sent them after this morning. Okay. Anna put, they tried to hold their love for winter itself together, hoping that they will stay warm and safe from the cold until spring arrives again. We can get rid of again. We already know spring is going to come. So until then, they wait inside the cabin and they will always have each other to keep one another warm from the cold and snowy winter. But besides each other, they also have the fireplace for warmth. Great sentence structure, Anna. Comment. Let me see. Ashley, where is your comment? How far up is it, Ashley? Is it after Valerie's You Guys Are Gonna Be Famous? Oh, that seems repetitive, kind of like my sentence. What do you mean by repetitive? What do you mean by repetitive, Ashley? This one here, Mimi's? It's 2 different sentences, honey, I was reading. This is the one I helped her with. This is the one she wrote. So these are not repeating. We had to pick one or the other. But she told me she sent 2 more. So I circled it and will send it out to everyone as soon as I add her 2 new sentences. That's why it's important, guys. Get me your stuff the day before, so when I'm working on this, I can be able to get it all together. Miss Anna, you also need, I'm trying to help Miss Anna out here. They tried to hold, now Miss Anna had, what was her sentence? The voice of winter. You had the voice of winter and you wrote about, so I'm going to circle Anna's and help Anna with what it is like to write about the voice of winter, not of Lyra and Trayton. Okay, here are my sentences. I did have to fill in for Miss Valerie's. So I'm going to start with what I had first, which was, let's see, I had to write about, the one who watches and waits, Lyra, and Valerie had the one who holds tomorrow together, Lyra. So I wrote about both of these about Lyra. In the harshness of winter, the silence between Trayton and Lyra felt as though the very foundation of their marriage was threatening to crack. outside, hinting at something ominous, is lurking unseen in the snow. The distant howl of the wind seems to echo their unspoken fears, each gust of wind carrying with it a chill that seeped into their bones, thus reminding them that danger was not merely a figment of their imagination. Something was definitely coming. Lyra could feel the pressure within herself, building like a wave washing over her. She felt as if her lungs would burst. Just on the edges of her sanity, she thought she would go mad. The part where Lyra is watching through the window. Yes, it is repetitive because that is what she does. Yes, that we want that to be. You have to look at the big picture in the writing of the book. We're looking, she cooks meals, she watches from the window, she makes him coffee. So all her pastime, she can do sewing and she does the household chores, but she does watch him from the window quite a bit. As we have stated in the story, that she wishes she could help him. So yes, it should be repetitive. Thank you for that question, though, Ashley. That is a awesome question. Now you understand, right? So let me know if you understand why it is repetitive. Yes. All right, everybody. If this sentence is okay, give me a thumbs up, and we're moving on to the one I wrote for Miss Valerie's part. We are going to have 7 voices from now on, but I had to make sure to cover Valerie's part. All right, thumbs up, thumbs up. Yes, give me a thumbs up if you want me to leave it as it is. All right, this is the one I wrote about Lyra. Valerie had the one who still plants something. In the midst of an ominous winter, where the silence wrapped around Triton and Lyra like an unyielding shroud, Lyra stood as the embodiment of resilience. The cold, frightening landscape whispered a chilling promise of doom. Yet within Lyra's heart, there was a flicker of vibrant hope, despite the harsh winds and the daunting silence that lay between her and Triton. Lyra's spirit remained unbroken. In her hand, Lyra held a simple seed, a beacon of hope amidst the bleakness. This seed, though small, was her defiance against the encroaching cold. It was her belief that even in the most horrible of conditions, life would find a way to flourish. As she gently placed the seed into a box, Lyra promised more than just spring. She vowed to the possibility of renewal, a testament to her unwavering faith and the strength that life could return to normal and the silence would be no more. If you like that paragraph and don't want to change it, give me a thumbs up. If you see somewhere I need to change, maybe a word or a sentence, let me know. Otherwise, give me a thumbs up and we will move on. And both these paragraphs will go into the chapter. Thank you for the love. Thank you, thank you. I so appreciate all that love, y'all. All right, now we have got to get into our voices for next week. Our voices is going to be in the next chapter, and I'm going to explain these to you as I give them out. All right. All right, let's start with Shanika. I'm going to give you the voice of watching winter. No, take that back. Stop the train. Shanika, I'm going to give you the voice of unspoken fear. Shanika, you have the voice of unspoken fear, and I'm going to give you, it is write a paragraph from the fear that grew stronger and the longer it was not named. Let me read that again. Shanika, you have the voice of unspoken fear. You are going to write a paragraph from the fear that grew stronger the longer it was not named. You can always come back to the video in this section and hear it again if you need to. Thank you, Ashley. She said beautiful to my chapter. All right, Miss Paula. You are going to have the voice of memory that wouldn't stay buried. Paula, you have the voice of memory that wouldn't stay buried. Now let me read that to you. You are going to write one paragraph from a memory that returned sharper than expected. Now, this is a memory from Lyra and Trayton, or just one or the other. One or the other. A voice of a memory that wouldn't stay buried. Write a paragraph from a memory that returned sharper than ever, than expected. And that is Miss Paula's. All right. Ashley, you get the voice of the watching winter. The voice of the watching winter. And you will write one paragraph as winter itself, aware of the people it has been pressing against. You are going to write one paragraph as winter itself, aware of the people it has been pressing against. And that one is Miss Ashley's. These are going to be awesome paragraphs. All right, Mimi, you get the voice of endless work. The voice of endless work. And that you are going to write one paragraph from the force that kept someone moving when stopping felt dangerous. Mimi, the voice of endless work. Write one sentence from the force that kept someone moving when stopping felt dangerous. That could be Trayton and Lyra, or just one or the other. The voice of endless work. All right, now, Miss Anna. The voice of what must be faced. Miss Anna, you are going to have a paragraph of the voice of what must be faced. And you are going to write one paragraph from what has been waiting since the first snowfall. What has been waiting since the first snowfall? The voice of what must be faced. Write one paragraph from what has been waiting since the first snowfall. And D, ha ha ha, Miss D, you get to write about The voice of the waiting house. The voice of the waiting house. You are going to write one paragraph from the place that held warmth, silence, and memory through the storm. The voice of the waiting house. You get to write one paragraph from the place that held warmth, silence, and memory through the storm. How awesome is that? And last but not least is TZED. I get to write about the voice of the unseen presence. The voice of the unseen presence. And that is, write one paragraph as something that arrived with the storm, but not the storm itself. The voice of the unseen presence. Write one sentence as something that arrived with the storm, but not the storm itself. Do you see where this is going, y'all? Today is the 25th. I gotta mark this for our records. All right, I got the date on that. And these are going to be awesome paragraphs, aren't they, y'all? Now let me show you the beautiful pictures for our journal book for this chapter, y'all. This chapter. They are beautiful. And I made these a little bigger. Now tell me as I show you the pictures, you tell me if you can recognize with a yay or a yes. You can put yes or yay or one emoji. Don't put a lot of emojis because they consider that spam. So put the word yes or yay and let me know if you can recognize parts of the chapter in these pictures. Here we have Trayton outside chopping wood. Look at that snowstorm, y'all. And this is for chapter 8 in our journals. Yes, do you see which part of the chapter that goes with? All right. Here we have Lyra. She is inside by the fire with a cup of coffee, and she is reading a book right now inside the warm, and the house is dark from the storm outside. Yes, very, very dark, and you can see the ice on the windows, and she has the candlelight and the little lantern in the window, and here's another candle. Very dark, and the storm is terrible outside. Now, here is a picture of Trayton and Lyra inside the cabin. What is different about this picture? Can anyone tell me what is different here? Are they out of sync? Can anybody tell me what is different here? And why it fits the chapter? There's ice on the window, a lot of ice. We can still see Trayton, and he is looking down. He's looking down. She's reading. We can see her clearly with a little bit of ice around the window, but and there is the coffee that she handed him, but a lot of ice. They are out of sync. That is the silence between them. How awesome is that picture, y'all? And then we have the wedding. How many can relate this to the chapter? We have a wedding ring, a picture of a wedding, ice on the tree right here. There's ice forming around the window, and of course the wedding ring and the wedding picture. How awesome is that? You can tell the story with the pictures. Virtually tell the story with the pictures. And here we have Miss Ashley. What is she doing? I'm getting on your case, girl. Miss Ashley, what is she doing? You can tell there is distance between them, even though they are together. That's exactly what we wanted. Exactly. And here's another picture that Miss Ashley should be famous with. What is she doing, everybody? What is she doing? It seems like she's always doing this. That's right, repetitive, as Miss Ashley put it. She repetitively watches out the window. I love it. And then you can tell he must be out in the barn because there's a light on in the barn. So he's probably out there. Yeah, that's right, Paula. She's looking outside. And, of course, here we have their cabin. In the terrible winter storm, you can see it's nighttime. Their lights and candle lanterns are shining. The snow is piling up. Look how deep the snow is on the roof. Smoke coming out the chimney. It practically tells the story right here. It's a very, very bad winter. And this is the cabin also. This is, can anybody tell me what time this is? And it was Ashley's sentence. If you remember, Ashley wrote this sentence. What time is this picture depicting? And the snow is falling down. It's dark. There's just a small candle glow coming from the house. Very cold and windy. You can tell by the way the snow is blowing. You can't barely see it, but it's there. And it's cold. This, thank you, Ashley. This is late at night when he is laying in bed, listening to the wind brushing against the cabin's walls. And here we have Lyra, again, tending to the chores inside the house. She is sewing one of Trayton's shirts by lantern and doing the work on the inside. That's her job. She does the inside chores. Good answer, Anna. Nighttime, that's for sure. And those are our pictures for this chapter, you all. Beautiful, beautiful. I knew you guys are going to love. If you want the pictures for your picture journal that we will be doing, get your sentences in. Come back to the video if you need to so that you know what you need to write. Make sure it's a paragraph or two if you choose. And let's bring our third star to a 4. Get our third spice level to a 4 spice level, y'all. Let's work hard this week because you get a vacation real soon. And email me at TZEDstyle@gmail.com and ask for the journal pictures, chapter 8. I will send them out immediately so that I can make room for our next chapter. I am still working on getting all the pictures together from chapter 1 through 7. And I sent all the pictures out to those who requested last week. And now I will send these out right away. But give me some time before we take our vacay on a Wednesday and do the journal. I will have all the pictures to you. So I will send these out right away. Make sure to put in the subject line, Chapter 8 photos, so that I see right away you want the pictures for the journal. Bye, Mimi. I want to thank you all for coming in today, and for the watchers who are watching our Wednesday book club. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part and staying here and listening to the story and the paragraphs and being with us. It makes us feel very special that you are enjoying the Writers Club. And this is going to be an awesome story, you all. And I hope when you spend time watching us, you will get the book when it is released. Until tomorrow, everyone, Fairy Garden Flight. What does that mean? What does she have up her sleeve this week? Fairy Garden Flight. Think about that, and I'll see you tomorrow at 10:30 in the Fairy Garden. And then Friday, if you missed that video, go watch the movie video. We have Friday easy breezy movie trivia. It is so easy, y'all. You don't have to stress your brains. A 5-year-old could answer these movie questions. It is easy peasy, no sequels. You don't have to say sequel 1, 2, 3. All straightforward movies, easy peasy. It's going to go so fast, it's going to make your head spin. You just have to put on your lightning fingers. That is all. What a fun morning to spend with each other in movie trivia. And it's ready to go, y'all. I am done with Friday's subscriber movie trivia. But watch that movie. It could be part of the movie questions you never know. Be sure and check out that video. Till then, be happy, stay safe, and always keep your positivity. Love ya. Hugs. Till then.